Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bokum. For you guys that are watching or tuning into my channel for the very first time, in this channel I'm going to be sharing a whole lot on my pregnancy, delivery, and motherhood, generally postpartum journey. I feel as though we don't find a lot of information on these things on the internet, and that is why I started this series called Motherhood Unfiltered. If you're watching me for the first time, do not hesitate to subscribe and like this video and comment. Let me know what you think, or just suggest some of the things that you want me to share and talk about. Like I said, it is going to be raw, it is going to be the truth, it is not going to be sugar coated. This particular video, we're going to be talking about tearing during delivery. I feel as though not a lot of conversation has been had on this, and you don't find a lot of resources on it. And even if you do, they only give you the basics. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing my truth about my tearing during delivery and how I did not expect it and how it happened. Firstly, I'm going to be going through some questions just to regulate how I have this conversation. And answering these questions will generally just include me telling you what I expected and what happened, and obviously how I was able to heal through it and some of the things that I did to prepare myself for what was going to happen. First question here is, what were you expecting during delivery and what actually happened during birth? First of all, I don't think anybody can prepare for labor and delivery, or even you prepare as much as possible. At the end of the day, you really don't know how your body is going to respond. And most importantly, you don't know how your baby is going to come. So you need to prepare your mind mentally for anything. And when I mean mentally, is that when something happens, at least you're ready for it, and it will be something that will not surprise you. So think about all the best case scenarios and the worst case scenarios before you go into that delivery room, just so that you're prepared physically and most especially mentally. When I was at my 37 weeks, I started a practice which is called the perineal massage, to ensure that I stretch my perineum so I do not tear during delivery. And I'm just going to share some of the things I was using. I was using this Freedom Moms massage wand. It comes in a case like this, very nice. What you do with this massage wand is you use it to stretch your perineum. Your perineum is between your vagina and your anus. So you use this with oil. I was using the Lancino oil, just to lubricate your perineum area, because it can be very uncomfortable if you use this on its own without lubricating the area, to make sure it's easier to press down on it to stretch and open up your perineum. So I was using this. I think I started doing it at about 36, 37 weeks to stretch my perineum. And most times, midwives, OBGYNs, most people will actually recommend that you do that to ensure that you reduce the level of tear, or maybe you might not tear at all. So I was definitely doing this. It was a ritual. Another thing I was doing is taking a lot of this primrose oil. So what this primrose oil does is that it's just oil capsules that you insert inside your vagina. I think you start it at about 37 or 38 weeks. Do not do this early, because according to what I heard, it can induce labor. So you want to start it at a point that you're nearing labor, and you insert it all the time, and it can help to, it will just dissolve in the vagina, and it can help to sort of like soften your cervix. So these are what I was doing. And like I said, there was nothing I was not doing to prepare for not tearing. I was exercising, I was eating well, I was stretching, I was doing all of that. But at the end of the day, I still had a second degree tear. I felt as though if I did not prepare myself or did any of this, I would have had a higher degree of tear. But I still definitely tore, even though I thought I would not tear, and I was expecting not to tear, but I did. So I had a second degree tear, and that was the most insane part of my delivery journey. And what made it worse was that obviously the moment you give birth with that tear, they get to stitch it at the hospital. Sometimes they use stitches that you have to go back to remove. Sometimes they use stitches that dissolve. For me, they use stitches that dissolve. So I got home, and it took weeks before that tear could heal. They will tell you after 6 weeks it's going to be fine, but mine did not heal until recently, and it's still healing. And it's the worst experience, because I remembered when I was feeling that kind of pain, my tear after 6 weeks, it was still not healing. I remember in my fourth week, I went to my doctor and I started telling her how I don't feel like my tear was healing and it was giving me a hard time. And she was like, "Oh, there's nothing we can do about it now because we cannot stitch it anymore. There, it has gone past the stitching level, so it will just have to like heal, what they call healing with second intention, a medical term, something like that." But I was in pain. I was in pain, and I didn't feel like I was being heard at that point. And I was sent home. So I went home to just ensure that I was like that for it to heal on its own. They told me, "Oh, keep it dry, it should be fine." But at the end of the day, it still took much longer than I expected. So just a few weeks back, I went back again and I was so pissed. And I told my doctor, I'm like, "You know what? I need us to find a solution to this because it's really giving me a hard time. When I pee, it burns. When I sit, it bleeds. I really don't want to be feeling this way anymore." And that was when she gave me some extra pills. And then she also took a swab to make sure it was not infected. And she also gave me a cream that I could use on it. But what made me mad about that particular experience is the fact that she said it will heal on its own, and I was not given any lotion, any cream, or any ointment to put on it for it to heal faster. I had to be given that when I came back in to almost cry in the office for me to be given those things. And after I started using those things, now I'm healing properly. So this goes back to my point in my last video where I was talking about just some of the support that you need during delivery. And in my next video, I'm going to be talking about getting a doula and why I feel having a doula can really help you to advocate for yourself. I had a doula during my delivery. She came like twice, but after I had the baby, she saw me twice, and then our her service with me had ended. But most times, some people have doulas all through, and sometimes your doula can really advocate for you in that kind of sense. So, in the US, where it's crazy that especially Black women do not even feel heard most times, like you go to the hospital and they just really do what they feel is best and not what's best for you or what you're asking for. So, this is my experience with second degree tear. It took me more than 6 weeks to heal. And to be honest, I am still healing, and it was the most traumatic experience ever. So you can really not prepare for those things, but there's definitely certain things you can do to reduce, like I said, the level of tear. How did I feel emotionally when I found out that I had torn? I think it was, for me at that point, it was normal because, like I said, I had already prepared my mind that even though I was doing all these things, I knew that it's possible that I was going to tear. But at that point, it was not even a big deal to me because I had my baby in my arms and it was the most beautiful experience. Nothing else mattered. I just laid there and my baby was on my chest whilst they were stitching me down there. So it was the last thing I was thinking about. But when I started really noticing and constantly thinking about my tearing was when I got home and the amount of pain that I went through, just for it to heal. I couldn't sit for a very long time to breastfeed my baby. For instance, now my baby does not even suck on my breast anymore because I had to introduce her to bottles quite early because I could not sit for a very long time to breastfeed her. Because when I sit for a long time, my tearing kills me. It's the most painful thing ever. So now she does not even suck on my breast because she's not used to it. So I just pump and I give her bottles. So that's just some of the emotional toll it can have on you. You do not realize it till you get home, and during that healing is when you know that, yeah, I definitely tore and this is not a good feeling. And that's why they always tell you to rest as much as possible when you when you give birth, and not do anything or move around. So my tearing did not heal for the 6 month period they said it was gonna heal. It took close to almost, my baby's turning almost 3 months now, and I'm still healing from my tearing. And if there was anything that I wish that someone had told me about this part of childbirth, I think we had a conversation about it very briefly with my doula, but I don't think we went into depth. And like I said, I was really doing everything possible not to tear. I had read on it, I had understood some of the complications and what can happen from childbirth and tearing. But I really wish that I will have found resources that would tell me that, okay, when you tear, just know that there's a possibility that your stitches are going to reopen. There's a possibility that your healing will take longer than you expected. And most importantly, I wish I had seen something or a resource that would have told me that, you know what, this is gonna take a whole mental and emotional toll on you. And I don't feel as women we get seen for the emotional and mental challenges that we go through after bringing our babies into this world. So that is one thing that I wish was different, for me to have seen resources that would have prepared me for how emotional my tearing journey or feeling or being in that kind of space would be for me. And I did not see a lot of that. My doula was very helpful. My husband was there with me, ensuring that I heal as much as possible. But the longer it took for me to heal, the more affected I was in my head about why I was not healing and why it was taking that long and the amount of pain I was going through. And at some point that my baby stopped sucking on my breast, I started feeling bad and I felt I had let her down because I couldn't sit down to breastfeed her. It was so painful, I couldn't. I was laying most of the time in bed, and when I sat down, I had to sit on something that would support wherever I was sitting, so it was not too hard on my buttocks. So yeah, it was absolutely insane. So that is something I definitely wish I had seen more of the emotional and not just what will happen physically. How did I experience my postpartum recovery and self image? Like I said, it was one of the most challenging periods of my life. Obviously, my friends will see me, oh, you look so good. You do not even look like you just gave birth. I think I am just strong. And I have a way of registering in my mind that no matter what I'm going through, it's not going to reflect on my person. And one of the reasons I decided to really start having this conversation is because I really want other women out there who are about to have babies to sort of like understand that this shit is real and you are going to experience so much changes. You're never going to be the same person again. You're going to be an entirely different person. And absolutely, trust me, that's okay because you look at your baby and it's the best feeling in the world. But childbirth really affects your self image. Postpartum affects your self image because it's not going to be you again. It really hasn't. You will get to love yourself. You'll get to make peace with the life that you have now. But I think it's also very okay for you to feel like, you know what, this is like huge major changes, and I don't know. I really don't know if I was prepared for it. It's okay to feel that way and still love your baby. And this is what I tell mamas all the time. Don't feel guilty to feel a certain way and still love your baby to bits. Like you can do anything for those little human beings, tiny human beings. But it is also okay to mourn yourself and who you used to be. So definitely for me, it sort of like affected my recovery because, like I said, I was not healing in time. And it was affecting me a lot. Obviously, intimacy with my partner too, because even after 6 weeks that I was expecting that we were going to start getting intimate again, that was not happening because I was still sore and healing down there, and it was not getting well no matter what I did. So yeah, it definitely affects you. So some of the advice or encouragement that I'll give to someone who is worried about tearing is that prepare your mind, know that you can do this, and it's not going to be easy. Like I said, on this channel I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. It's going to be challenging when you tear, and some people are different. Before you know it, they're well, and they don't it does not take a long time for them to recover. That's absolutely amazing. But you also need to prepare your mind for the fact that you might not recover early and that your stitches might reopen, so prepare for that. And if they reopen, feel free to go to your OBGYN and advocate for yourself. I had to take a stand at a point and I'm like, you know what? I need you to give me something to help me. Like I need something to help me, and I'm not leaving this office until I get it. And she gave me those things, and now I feel like I am much better. I am healing. I am totally fine now. So prepare your mind mentally, physically, emotionally for tearing. Do all of these things that you see on the internet that people share that it will help for you not to tear. But I don't want any woman or any expectant mama to sort of like fully depend on that and definitely rule out the fact that you might tear if you're having a vaginal delivery. Because trust me, like I said, anything is possible. You don't know how your body will react to that, because that's a whole different thing. It's a whole different pressure on your body. You've never experienced it before if you're a first time mom, so which means that it's a whole different journey. So do prepare your mind for anything, for the worst case scenarios, for the best case scenarios in the hospital and delivery room. So this is what I wanted to cover in this video. I don't want my videos to be very long, so it's easy to watch and get the best tips and resources from it. I will also put these things, like I said, in my Amazon storefront linked in the description. So do check it out and make a purchase. To start using it now if you're about to have a baby or looking forward to having a baby. And thank you so much for watching. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and let me know what you think. You can feel free to share your experience in the comment section about your own tearing during delivery and how you recovered, and maybe share resources down there too for people that will be reading the comment on what's the easiest way to recover from that traumatic experience. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video.